with your host, Unprofessional. Time zone appropriate greeting to you and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while, I'm sorry. But I've got a very special community spotlight for you. This interviewee was very graceful enough to take time away from his busy schedule to answer the questions and return it to me in a video format. And I really appreciate this, and I'd like to thank him for his time and his patience and answering all the questions. So, without wasting any more time, I'd like to introduce Shawn of Blue Table Painting fame.
Why, hello there. This video is for Wooden Spoon Wargaming, and they had a thing where they were calling for people that maybe would like to be interviewed. So the format that I've chosen is to just answer the questions on a video, which I will send to them, and of course upload it to my own channel. Ugh. By the way, it's the last day in September in Utah, and Utahns, we sort of make fun of our weather that at certain times of the year, it's like it's all over. It'll be like freezing, and then summertime, and then it'll be raining, and then it'll be sunshiny, and then it'll be snowing. And this is that time of year. Like in the morning, it's like better bundle up. In the afternoon, it's like, oh God, it's so hot. I love it though. I moved to Utah in 2004, and it was my favorite time of year was autumn. But once I moved to Utah, it became spring, because spring is really beautiful here. Utah's highland desert that's been colonized by humans. So all the trees here, there wasn't a giant forest and we cut down a bunch of the trees. Oh no, there was a desert and we planted a lot of trees. And so Utah's very cultivated, which makes spring a really amazing time because you see all these cultivated flowers. At least in my neighborhood, the yards are generally well tended. So anyway, Wooden Spoon Wargaming, I know nothing about them. I would like to. But here it goes. So, hold on a second. Let me just. Yep. No, we're doing good for time. There we go. Okay, good. Okay. They say welcome to this community spotlight session once again. This month I have had the privilege to interview insert name here, Shawn of Blue Table Painting fame. And I get that a lot. I get people who are like I'll make a comment on YouTube. People are like, oh man, I'm fanboying out here. And I'm just like, all right, well, awesome. If you knew the truth, you'd be significantly less impressed. All right. Actually, if you knew the truth, your eyeballs would fly out of your head because it's so awesome. All right. Let's see. Basic questions. Can you tell the folks a little bit about yourself? Yep, sure can. Son of Southern California girl and Oregon gun-toting hillbilly. They warned her not to marry him, but here I am. And I grew up in Oregon, backwoods Oregon. I went on a Mormon mission and was Mormon for 27 years. Haven't been for 6 years. And what else? Hold on. So I went on a mission to South America. That was kind of a highlight of my life. Went to college for a degree in language arts Spanish. And then I moved to San Francisco at age 30. I was a 4th grade teacher for 4 years. And then I started Blue Table Painting in 2004. Moved to Utah. And I've been here going through my grand Utah adventure ever since. I've been divorced 4 years, just remarried 2 months ago. Never thought I would get married again, but here I am, and loving it. All right. You know, it's easier the second time around because you really know what to expect. You know what to put in the contract. I handle myself so much better, you know. All right, let's see. How did you get into the hobby of tabletop wargaming? Hey, can I just go grab some water? Hold on a second. Trust me, man. It's going to be worth it. Oh, thank God. I can already feel myself drying out. Okay, how did you get into the hobby of tabletop wargaming? In the late 90s, I was running a role-playing group, and two of my players, Aaron and Shawn, they would go play Warhammer 40K afterwards. I didn't know what they did. They were kind of excited about it. They'd be like, hey, it's time for our game. We got to go. I'd be like, whatever. And I had actually imagined in my head that they were like going to play paintball or something. And one time they left some white dwarfs, and I started reading those, and I was hooked. This is just when Tyranids were coming out. I couldn't get enough. I was nuts for it. So I bought about 50 Eldar metal infantry, aspect warriors and stuff, and built my little Eldar army. Eldar were my first army. I still love them so much. And actually owned a game store in the late 90s. So there you go. So that's how I got into it. Some friends introduced me. What type of hobbyist are you? A painter, collector, gamer, or mix? Mostly a painter, obviously. Early on, I just loved to paint more than I loved to play. I would show up at the weekly like gaming thing in San Francisco, and I would just bring painted miniatures every week and like put them on like a little display and be like, hey, look what I painted. I'd just sit there and shoot the bull, watch the guys play. I'd play like every other week, you know. Let's see, what game systems do you play? Oh man, I want to talk about this. I'm a huge fan of alternate models, smaller games, just love them. My absolute favorite miniatures battles game of all time is Drop Zone Commander. So good, and great company. They've recently been taken over by another company, so I really don't know where things are with that. Of course, I play Warhammer 40K. I've owned almost every army in existence at some point in time and been able to play a ton of them. And of course, with Blue Table Painting, now clocking, by my estimate, 8,000 projects. Conservative estimate, 6,000 projects. I've seen it all. I've seen it all come through. I've seen people doing bat reps with them. My people have, you know, they've had their armies. So I'm super jaded. Like, it takes a lot to impress me for me to go, oh wow, that's amazing. Never mind going to conventions and stuff and seeing displays that are just out of this world. So I love Age of Sigmar. If I had to pick one of those to play forever, it would definitely be Age of Sigmar. It's because I love the models and the setting and basically everything I could have dreamed for Warhammer Fantasy of like how the game could have been better and what I personally wanted in a game, and then add like 50% on top of that. That's Age of Sigmar. I got everything I wanted. It's tremendous, and I love playing miniatures battles. It's so awesome. As far as other games, role-playing games are now miniatures battles games, basically. A lot of great plastic coming out of China for Kickstarter board games. Oh man, just and inexpensive. Like, what more do you want? Like, it's $2 a fig, and if you're bargain hunting and get down to $1 a figure, that's just, and the quality's up, and man, what a time to be alive. So my favorite miniatures battles game, Pathfinder, the role-playing game, Dungeons and Dragons. And the great thing about that is it never goes out of style. It's a game where really it's accepted widely to just change the rules. You have a dungeon master, he sort of moderates everything. It's great. And the systems are now designed to play miniatures with them as well. Of course, the original D&D was that way as well, because Dungeons and Dragons obviously grew out of wargaming in the 70s. And if you look at the old monster manual, the movement was in inches. Like, how many inches would they move? An inch was 10 feet, which is about the scale now. Almost. All right, guys, what's next? Are you simply a one-game person, or do you play many different games? Obviously, many different games. Guy, do I need to give a shout-out to other games? Oh, not that I can think of offhand. What was the thing that caught your eye most when you were first starting out? Well, I think I talked about that. I just loved kind of the role play of it. And again, I used to own a game shop in Oregon called Invincible Wargames, and that was quite an adventure. Man, I wish I could go back and like do it again, knowing what I know now. And then I think, well, what am I doing now that future me will look back and be like, oh, buddy, you should have quit all that and done this other thing. And I wonder what it is. Yeah, I'm going to figure that out. All right. What advice would you give someone just getting into the hobby, or your younger self, now that you have been involved in this for a while? Okay, let's think. Involved in what? If someone were starting a miniatures painting company, my advice would be keep it simple and go analog and just excel in your own sphere of influence. Do well with that. And then once that sort of fills up and it's solid and you're on good footing, then take the next step. Don't just charge off to build an empire. Your supply lines will get too weak on all levels. And my other advice would be have good relationships, but don't go out to make like a ton of them. Be very selective in the relationships, personal and professional, that you make. Make sure that it's something, it's like the people involved are people that you really think are wonderful and really want to work with them. There was a time when we were building bridges with like anybody we could lay hand, like 100 different companies. It's too much. Just pick a few. And be happy. So let's see. Advice to younger self about life. Ugh, that's one of those things where later on I'm going to think of like all these things. You know. Go back to give advice to yourself. Don't worry. Live in the moment. All those things that I used to be just worried out of my skull about, it turned into nothing. It's going to be okay. Just let things run their course. And if you can't do something about it, then don't. Just stop. Go do something else for the day or a week. And everything will correct itself. Even if a whole human life is uprooted from the planet, well, guess what? Everything just sort of heals around it and the river keeps on flowing. And so it's okay. Don't get worked up over things. So yeah, if I could go back, I'd find my inner peace more quickly. And that's something I might talk about in a little bit. Let's see. Now that you're involved, have you ever had an extended period out of the hobby? No. I did sort of, in terms of running the company, there was a period of time where I was just like, I was overwhelmed and didn't so much want to do it anymore. But now I'm back, baby, and loving it. So let's see, extended period out of the hobby. No, not really. And I go back and forth between game systems. I did a lot of Age of Sigmar last year. Now I'm sort of swinging back into 40K. And yeah. I played War Machine Hordes. That game is deserving. It's well written, it's well supported, the models are so innovative, and really that's the game that should be succeeding. So I don't know what's going on with that. How did you get back in? Well, again, I do this for a living. Right now I have 50 projects, so I can't just walk away from it. I have 50 projects that I'm working on. I got to make sure those get done. So, yeah. Let's see, what's the best part of the hobby for you? Is painting and collecting. I love going and finding really cool miniatures and just picking out specific things, you know, like, oh wow, that's a really cool mini, and just get that for the sake of it, not because I'm going to play it in a game or I need it to be competitive or whatever. Just getting miniatures because they're awesome. What is the worst part of the hobby for you? Let's make that business. What's funny is if blue table painting is like if we're really busy or if we're not as busy, I need more or less people. Like I have to bring on assistants and stuff. I know how to scale this up at least to 30 people. And so anyway, my least favorite part is packing packages. That's the thing I first get rid of. In terms of the hobby, assembly, I don't really like putting the figures together. I'm good at conversions, but it's really time and labor insensitive to do assembly. Yeah. What keeps you in the hobby? I think I answered that. How do you deal with burnout, lack of hobby mojo? Well, this lay in the nature of Shawn Gately. I have like this natural enthusiasm and energy that just comes out, and I love it. And the more humans are around, the better. And what's really strange is right now the way I run the company is I'm mostly by myself all day. And it's starting to get a little weird for me. Like, I'm like, you know what? I'd love it if there were an artist who would be in the room and just doing their work while I was here all day. But of course, that's also a giant distraction too. So maybe not so great there. Let's see. Has anyone inspired your hobby style life? Ooh. Wow, these are good. I should have read this before turning the camera on. Who has inspired me? I actually have a blog post page called Hall of Heroes where I write, like I put the person's picture and I write like how great they are on there. And by the way, a lot more people deserve to be on there than are on there. I think I only have like 4. So I'll just refer you to the bluetablepainting.blogspot.com. Yeah, I'm still using Blogspot. And by the way, that is better. Like it's just always there. It always works. I don't have to pay for a domain name. It's there's a lot on there. And if you go back and read like really the old posts, remember, that was the old Shawn that does not exist anymore. This guy's around right now. All right. And by the way, I'm actually doing better nowadays. It's great. I just turned 50 and I feel awesome. I look good. I feel good. I've got my inner peace. I'm opening up this giant new chapter in my life. I was thinking this morning, you know how old I am? I'm 0. Next year I'll be 1. And that's how I'm counting it. Okay. Because you really can reinvent yourself. You can live a new life. I think humans were meant to do that. That forgetfulness is a blessing, and man, it is better just to let things go. Don't look for closure. Yeah, that would be advice to old self. Don't always go back and be like, oh, I got to seal up all this stuff. No. You're not going to do that. Don't waste your present trying to deal with stuff from way back there. Just move on. Just keep moving on. All right. Has anyone inspired you? Yeah, Rich Kilton was a great friend of mine. I don't see him hardly ever because I moved up to Salt Lake. It's like an hour drive. But he's always friendly. I know he's like around in the Wargaming circles. But Rich was really good to me. He was really good to me. 2015 was like the worst year ever. And Rich came, he would just come down. He'd be like, I'm here to check on you, buddy. And when really nobody was doing it. So yeah, that guy's pretty awesome. And really, I would have to say the people that have worked at Blue Table Painting. I have met so many great humans who have made a lasting impression. And partly that's just skill. I've had great art directors come through and I just learned a lot from them. But I learned a lot as a human. as well from all the people that have come through here. And I have a giant list of people that I admire that I've come up to through Business Wives. Also, generally in life, that we're on Has Anyone Inspired Your hobby style / life? It's a hobby question. But I would say my new wife. And people don't really know her. She's very reclusive. She looks, she's reminiscent of Esmeralda from Hunchback of Notre Dame. She, wavy raven hair and just this Mediterranean thing going on. And she is just a great human. Always calm, always reserved, and just, like that. That's what she's like. And for someone that's like kind of high energy, high strung like I am, it's the perfect balance. That there's this person that's very, very measured and calm and collected, and we just get along. Like when I get home at night, I walk up the steps and I'm just like, awesome, home. And it's just all so placid and wonderful. Yeah, I'll take a big helping of that. What projects are you working on in the moment? I just did a video about this. I'm working on it's all stuff for my D&D game. I run a Pathfinder game. We're going through the Kingmaker adventure path. And I picked up some Guild Ball figures for that, the basic set. And some Cyborg Dwarves. Nice. Great kit. So evocative. So characterful. And also working on, for 40K, I'm kind of going back and forth. I had a Dark Eldar army. I started to convert it and refurbish it. I kind of burned on it. It wasn't great. Sold that off. Oh, by the way, check out bluetablestore.com. I've got a lot of stuff up on there. It's basically all the extras, the trade-ins and things, but it's a lot of stuff. I think I have like 2,000 listings. I'd like it to be a lot more than that. I've really been beefing it out. So yeah, I guess that's a project I'm working on. I'm working on my web store. Do you plan out projects, armies, or just get sucked into the trap of collecting everything? No, it's planned. It's planned. If I'm doing an army, it's all like I figure it out ahead of time. I don't just grab this. I don't go to the hobby store. Yeah, I don't go into the hobby shop like, I don't know, just look around, pick up whatever, and then there's this big piles of this and that. Oh, no. For the most part, I'm usually caught up or close to caught up on my painting. Right. If your budget was unlimited, but you could buy only one army, what would it be? Oh, wow. Eldar. Yeah, I'd do Eldar. Love those guys. There's a lot for them. I've got ideas beyond, like things I'd like to 3D print and like an army that I'd like to do. What do you hope to improve with regard to your hobbying in the future? Okay, let's make that a business question. How do I hope to improve blue table painting? Well, you got to understand that blue table painting has been around for 16 years, and I have tried so many things. Different business models, doing it in different ways. So what I've done now over the last year to 2 years is I've taken all of that knowledge and wisdom and I've filtered it through and I've sort of gridded it into the best business model. So you want to know what the best business model is? The one I'm doing right now. But I would like to expand it just a little bit, maybe up to 50%, and get more of that sort of energy, but not let it get out of hand. So more energy, but then tightened up really tight. Now that's for the company and like in the near future. However, my vision, what I would really love would be a permanent Valhalla. This is a resort level facility and grounds that exists on its own. It doesn't need to sell anything. So I don't know how to make that happen. I have no idea. I imagine maybe like a benefactor will just drop out of the sky and be like, Shawn, I love your idea. I want you to do it. Here's resources. And then just meet once a month saying, hey, here's what I'm doing, and just have those funds. And have effectively like a Rivendell. And just have guests out. Like, there's no tickets. It's just if I feel like it, I'll have a group out, run them through the adventure of a lifetime for Dungeons and Dragons, or a campaign for 40K, Age of Sigmar, whatever the game is, and just have a group out, maybe 6 to 12 people. And not, again, no tickets, but just because it's fun. Maybe we'll record it, throw it up on for public view, or maybe we won't. Just do it just because. So what I do as a positivity exercise, and in a way, I wouldn't call it goal setting, I'd call it vision setting. A vision is getting an idea of what you would like your life to be, but without really any way to get there. And you just have it. And that's a whole different conversation. But in my fantasy world, I live in West Vancouver, Canada. And my shop, basically my hobby mecca, is at 5363 Q Cliff Road. And that place is awesome. And if you want to come out, you just come out. So, and I don't know specifically in the future where this place might be. In some of my my writings, my fantasy journals, I have it in Colorado. It's up in the mountains. There's like a Valhalla up there. And that one's actually the largest one that I've mentally constructed. And what else? The other thing I've been looking at is Sundance. Sundance has a lot of great properties up there. And those would make great wargaming retreats. But have my fantasy role in life is Elrond. That I have people out to my Rivendell just because, and they have this wonderful, amazing experience, and they, leave a little transformed. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But in the meantime, I'm just doing this. My business is running at this smooth sort of bedrock level. In my personal life, I have peace inside. I feel good almost all the time. And I love what I do. I've started to do battle reports again. I'm always working on my different projects. So life is good. And quite frankly, I'm at halftime right now. And I look back at my life with great satisfaction. I've done a lot. I've failed a lot, succeeded. And definitely can't say that my life has lacked adventure. It's been really, really amazing. All right, well, guys, that is it. Is that the last question? Oh, no. Here you go. Feels like I should end with that. Where are we now? We're at almost a half hour. I'll just rip through these other ones. Has your hobby enjoyment ever suffered from having a business related to what started off as a hobby? Nope. It's even better. Because I don't have to go do this other thing and then just like, oh, I wish this were over so I could go do my war game stuff. Nope, I'm just in it all the time. Has not ruined it. It's better. How do you choose your painters to work for you? Do you go out and headhunt people? Oh, wow. Okay, great. I put an ad up online, and I usually get about 20 applications. I narrow that down to 4, usually 10, like they're halved just immediately. People who live out of state or clearly have no skill in this area, stuff like that. Then I bring on 4 for basically trial runs to give it a shot. And then usually I end up with 1 or 2 that stay and are good. So, and I live in Salt Lake, which is a metropolitan area, and also with a really large art community. So a lot of my artists... Who is it? Oh, that's my wife. Okay, hold on just a minute. Have you ever looked at a finished commission and thought you wouldn't mind keeping it for your personal collection? All the time. Oh, yeah. Yeah, what's the process that someone would need to go through from having an idea of wanting to get an army painted by your company to the finished product. Email me anything, just like, hey, I'm thinking of having a What's It Army done. That's it, and then I'll prompt you for the right information and guide you through the process. 16 years of doing this, I got a great process. It's all solid. All right. Battle reports. Okay, well, thanks for tuning in. Off I go.
Thank you very much, Shawn, for that interview. It was really insightful, and I think a lot of people can take away a lot of good things about it. It's good to see you back in the positive vibe, and looking forward to seeing more and more of your company's amazing products and commissions. All the normal social media links are below. I don't know why I'm pointing below, because it's a voiceover, but yeah, check them out. This will be posted on our website and on Shawn's YouTube channel and ours. Like, comment, subscribe, normal stuff. Thank you very much. Take care.